everybody, and welcome to another episode of Is That an Owl Bear, a D&D podcast. I am one of your hosts. I'm Cristina.
And I'm your other host, DM Joe, and welcome for a great another episode. Today
Yeah,
we're
it's
going to
gonna
be
be
talking
great.
about, yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. How are you, Cristina? How are you? How's everything going?
Everything is fine. I don't know. I feel like I got kind of like stuck there, and with the end here we have. If you want to see what's going on here, just go to our YouTube. We have the socials and stuff, so go check it out because we also do that there, and it's a fun time. I guess it's weird. I am
It's a fun
having a
time.
moment.
It's mostly a fun time. It's also, a lot of patchwork from us putting it all together, but we're getting better. See, today we started off smooth. We started off great. Your energy is all the way up. I'm going to match that energy. It's going to be fantastic. I'm
I just
excited
want to
for
point
us.
out that right before I press record, Joe said to me, "You go ahead and you do it." So this is all his fault.
All my fault, all of it. Honestly, I've had a moment, I've had a week, I'm tired. So I was like, you know what? I think I kind of need you to
Get us
carry the
started.
big stick today because I'm tired. He's tired, guys. He's tired.
Listen, he's tired. I'm honestly, I'm I'm weirdly energetic. Like I don't understand what's going on, but I am weirdly energetic and really excited that we're here. Um, things are happening. It's springtime here in New York City, and it's been pretty freaking lovely lately. Also, I don't know. I guess that the medication's finally kicking in. So you had a really fun geeky weekend.
I
What'd you
did have a
do?
really fun weekend. Well, as I've mentioned before, I've been getting on
Mhm.
start playing what except it's start playing dot games.
Okay.
And I've DM'd professionally before, with friends when they wanted an extra game and all that, because
Mhm.
DMing, at least the way I do it, takes a little bit of time in getting everything together, getting everything in order. So they've paid me
It's a lot
before,
of
and
work.
it is. And well, this weekend officially I got an unknown player. He went ahead and booked me. Hey, new player. Hey, Rob. Thank you for
Hey,
that. And
Rob.
it was really, really thrilling for me to go ahead and have that going on. So I had that session on Saturday from there was the session 0 was from 3 to 4, and then we had the first session from 4 to 7:30 ish.
All right.
And then I had my regular Saturday sessions at 8. We started at about 8:39. So I was DMing from, let's say, 3 to about 1:30 in the
My
morning.
goodness. You
And
had
it
a
was
packed Saturday.
the best time ever. If I could just DM once a day, my endorphins would be where they should be,
I I
honestly.
I can see that. I can see that. And quite frankly, I wouldn't hate that for you. For us, for me, if I had the opportunity, which I guess I could, if I could just like play D&D for like a couple of hours a day, I think I would have a pretty easygoing week. But
Honestly,
yeah,
but what's your butt?
no. Please go on. I
No, honestly, for me, it's just the levels of creativity that I get to have. And not only that, but I had a very important lore session with the group I was playing with, my long running game. And the way they lost their shit when they realized what was happening, they were speechless. It was everybody got chills. I honestly,
yes.
it's one of those sessions where you give out a lot of answers, but those
Mm-hmm.
answers are still not the final answers, so it raises even more
Oh,
questions.
yes.
You know, so
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
it was exactly
Yeah.
that, and it was, gosh, it was so good.
So
The
happy for
way they
you.
played it, I had a blast, man. These last couple of weeks the last couple of days have been absolutely phenomenal. I'm
I'm
so
here
excited.
for it. Snaps,
Yes.
claps, all of the good vibes. I am so happy for you because yes, like
Mm-hmm.
this is, as a person who knows that she is trying her hardest to have a career that might not seem attainable to a lot of people. I am just so happy that this is the thing that we have both chosen to do with our time, you know?
Completely. It was like a dream. If you ask like 16, 13-year-old Joe, like, what do you want to do when you grow up? At one point, I'm sure I would have been like, I want to be a professional dungeon master, but that wasn't even real. Like, at least in my mind at that point, it wasn't something that was even possible. And the fact that I mentioned this about a year ago, and I started getting ready with learning how to use virtual tabletops, learning how to use, like, what programs I want to use. I was never on Discord, learning how to use Discord, just all the programs, all the information. I'm a curvy guy because of all the curves that I'm on. It's been great, and it didn't take me a full year because work gets in the way and I don't have as much time as I want. But now that I'm really able to set aside specific time for this and I keep pushing forward, I'm going to be positive and hope that this is just the first of many more, and I can keep doing what honestly brings me joy. It is literally Mary Condoing my personal life.
Yes.
Does this bring me joy? Yes, then we will do more of it.
Yes, absolutely. I'm fucking here for that. Snaps to that,
yes,
man.
Thank you.
Fuck yes. Fuck yes. Oh.
So
that made me happy.
It's been pretty great. I can't lie. It's been pretty great. And we're currently playing. I opened up a bunch of slots and start playing for other dates. It's my homebrew campaign that so it's a bunch of sessions. You get to explore a whole new world with me. Because the premise itself is you arrive at a new land after your world was destroyed, and you basically know nothing, and every session and every time we play, you're exploring more, uncovering what's going on here. You don't get immediate contact with any civilization, if there is any civilization. And I
just want you to say, because I know that you're like in a role right now and I love it, but you've been looking everywhere and I just spat so like I made a mess. And I've been waiting for you to say something to me. Like I looked directly at the camera and it was a whole thing, and I was like, is he gonna call me out? No, okay, all right.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna say I didn't notice, but I'm not gonna be like, you just spat on camera.
This is part of the charm.
It is part of the charm. If you're watching us on YouTube, you could have hidden it from our other listeners.
No, I keep it real.
You keep it real.
I keep it real, nitty and gritty. It was the water. I am sorry, not sorry. It's quality comedic content. All right, I'm here for it. I am here for it and providing it.
We're both here for it, and we hope you enjoy our. We really hope you enjoy our nonsense. All that, very that.
Yes.
So yeah, it's you broke me. My co-host is about to jump on the table, and you're about to see her.
Oh, welcome, special guest host.
Yes. She said I'm gonna walk behind the camera and be camera shy, so she left. But she jumped up on me. Anyway, diva. Bye, Kitty. Yeah, very that. She said, "Not today, Satan. Not today." Speaking of Satan, what?
Yes.
Yeah. What? Speaking of Satan, let's discuss. Discuss the episode title. As you can see, is called Dungeons and Drama. And as all of you know, and for sure have not, if you've played, you've had those experiences which are just dramatic, things that do not bring you joy, things that really complicate the game. And we're going to talk a little bit about how we handle it, what we recommend, some of our own experiences. We're not going to try to expose absolutely anyone, so if you feel that we're talking about you, we're not. And
it's just a coincidence,
especially if you know us in person and play with us. It's not about you.
It is not. It's not.
So one of the big things I want to start with, because it's my one thing that makes me want to honestly, and I don't think I've kicked a player out of a game, but the one thing that makes me want to kick a player out of a game is cheating.
Uh-huh.
And we had a player, way
Yes.
back when, a
Way back over a decade
way back
ago.
when, who cheated constantly
Hmm.
because he felt that his character, and I quote, is better than what the dice rolled.
Oh,
And
well,
that was
don't
one of the
we all feel
excuses.
that way?
Yeah, right, right.
My God.
The guy was unlucky. Like,
Oh,
there are players who, like, Cristina
boy.
has shit rolls.
The
Fact.
dice hate me. They
It's
truly
just a
do.
thing. Like, you all know who if you're listening to this, you probably know who Will Wheaton is. I can never say his name right.
Mhm. Will
And I don't
Wheaton.
know
Mhm.
Will Wheaton. And if you've ever seen his little cameo in Critical Role, you'll
Uh-huh.
see him talk about his curse. And like, the guy rolls, like, in one session, he rolls like 7 ones. It's some ridiculous thing like that. Christina's aren't that bad, but she's there. She doesn't roll all the ones, she rolls all the twos.
Yeah, no, I roll me some ones.
Yeah.
I always, you know what the thing is that my dice just choose just the lower end of the spectrum every single time. They're like,
Always.
oh, you wanna roll a 15? Oh, how about we get you a 6?
Pretty
Not
much
even the
that. So
modifiers can help you. Like that's
this
that's where I
guy,
live.
yeah, that's where you live. And this guy also lives there.
Yep.
But except that he was also he created characters, as everybody should, that he really liked and he really, like, raised up. And whenever his character failed or
Yes.
something, I remember him, like, literally, we were playing vampires at the time.
Mhm.
And you needed to erase from your blood pool whenever you used it, because we were playing in person. And I remember seeing him, like, I would
We
ask
were
him, like,
playing
how much
Vampires the
blood.
Masquerade because a
The
lot of
Vampires
things
the
have
Masquerade.
changed
Yes,
after.
thank you.
Yes. All right. Mhm.
And I remember, like, looking up at him at the table and saying, like, how many did you
Oh,
erase?
I
And
remember
him
this
taking
day.
his pencil and like, starting to erase. I was like, did you not erase when you said it? And he was like, no, I did. And someone looked over on his sheet and were like, no, you didn't. And it became this whole thing, and it was super uncomfortable. I spoke to
It
the guy
was so
afterwards.
uncomfortable. I remember this day.
Yeah,
I
no, it was
do.
terrible.
It
It
was,
was
oh,
terrible, terrible. Um,
yeah.
and the guy apologized. He said he wouldn't do it again. He did it again. He did it again. Eventually,
Was no longer welcome.
yeah, I
Mhm.
think the situation, it wasn't just the dice. The situation escalated to a point where he dropped off and
Mhm.
we stopped playing with him
Correct.
hand in hand.
It was a mutual agreement because it was just, I remember this. And this is something you never, obviously nobody wants this, but like we were all put in a situation by this player where the relationship just eroded. You cannot, it might seem dumb, but we are all here under the premise of having a good time, just sitting
Yep.
down and playing together. Why would we try to take advantage in a world of pretend?
I
Like
don't. I don't
there
know.
are
I'm gonna
literally no consequences. Wow,
exactly
for us.
the
So
consequences. Your character dies, so you are sad, and
make
then you
a
make a new one.
character.
Like, that's.
Yes.
I have a question for you. Do you
Yes.
consider cheating if the DM fudges their dice? Be honest.
Um if it's a recurrent, like if it's a common thing, then yes, it's not fair. Like the
Do you?
DM is the omnipresent person
Yeah, for
or
sure.
entity. So if the DM chooses to fudge the dice, although I mean
Ooh,
everything can
it's
be
a tricky
justified.
question.
It is. It's so tricky. Everything can be justified. Like if the DM really needs a role a certain way, they can fudge things around that benefit the story in the long run. But if it's just to, which we have talked about before, if it's just to make the DM's characters excel over the
Oh, yeah,
players
yeah.
or
No, no.
in that kind of situations, then fuck you.
No, I'm speaking. I think when the general DM population. I want to see. I want to talk about the general people who are online, who are talking, who are part of the conversation. Speak
Right.
about fudging dice. Is they tend to talk about, would you do a little bit extra damage to make it more dramatic? Not kill someone. Do a little bit extra damage to kill someone. Would you lower a monster's health to give the player the kill? Would you raise it because you played for 8 months and then you get to the big BBEG guy, and then because a series of rolls they kill him in 2 rounds? Are these things considered cheating, or are they considered narrative tools to make the environment better for the players?
Shades of gray. Shades of gray. It's
I'm
just.
I'm gonna confess that I have fudged a.
I know you have.
That's a cat.
Oh.
That's a cat that knocked that down. Hi, cat. I have fudged dice in the past, and I will continue to fudge dice. But the thing is, I mostly fudge die in favor of the players. Another thing that I do, which I haven't seen other DMs talk about, and I do this, and I will die on this hill. This is a hill that I will die on. People say that if a monster has 10 HP, it has 10 HP. Period. You cannot edit it. And I'm like, for me, when I see a monster has 10 HP, and let's say you're fighting 4 goblins, I'll maybe do 2 have 10, 1 has 20, and another has 7. And I'll describe them as regular looking, very sturdy and bulky, and the frailest of the bunch.
Yes.
So like, usually what I try to do is what I subtract from one, I'll add to another, but sometimes I don't even make it match. But I'll keep it in the ballpark to make it the enemies feel more than a stat block. Because if you hit one 3 times and it doesn't die, and then you hit another one, everybody else you kill with 2, then that's like the boss guy. That's the bigger guy.
I hear you.
That's why he's a little. So it's,
I hear you. And if I'm completely honest, I think that that everything boils down to homebrews.
yes.
Like at the end of the day, if you choose to play the way that it's written and not veer off in any way, shape, or form, that is your choice. If you choose to zhuzh it up a little bit and add a little extra flavor. Hey, you know what? All fried chicken recipes are not the same. The spices are different.
Yes.
You know, some choose to add no spices at all, and that is
it's
sad.
That, like it's adding a little bit of flavor. It's adding a little bit.
Yes.
And for me, I will never see it as that's cheating. If the DM is constantly fudging dice to screw over the player, cheating, get a new DM.
Yes.
If the DM is fudging dice to make it a better narrative feel, because something else that also I've done on several occasions that I know my players have no clue is, once I see their faces during a battle that they're just over it, the monster suddenly dies.
No. Okay. All right.
Like if it still has 75 HP, which will be another round or 2, and all of you are already like, oh my god, this has gone on for too long, we want to get back to the plot, because most of my players are not fighting lenient, they're more role-playing.
Right.
Then I'll just do it that way. And I know that it's a big taboo to say that. The cat's dropping things all over the room. It's fantastic. And I know it's a big taboo to say that because people are like, no, that ruins the magic or not. And I'm like, but what is the magic? Some imaginary number that the players do not know when I'm doing that. Nothing is ruined. If you keep thinking about it and you look at me and you're like, ruined. Is he doing it now? Is he doing it now? Then yeah, you're ruining it for yourself. But if you just take this information and ignore it.
Suspend disbelief is one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite phrases for actors, for performers, as what we do when we are acting, because we are not pretending. That is not the point of, you know, being an actor. You're the audience knows that you're not this person that's on the stage. So the audience chooses to suspend the disbelief in order to be in the place with you. And that is something that a dungeon master also does, that a storyteller does, or that the players, everybody does on the table, actually, because you allow the players to modify how which is what every single session is. The players modify the story.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you, as a storyteller, as a dungeon master, you realize that the narrative that you are sharing is not resonating with your players, and the suspended disbelief is fading, you have to pivot.
Correct. It's not only suspending the belief, but also we're humans and our attention span can just.
Yes.
I remember in
that part
Vampires the
too.
Masquerade, and just to end up this point in particular, Vampires the Masquerade, when everybody had celerity and everybody had 78 actions, nobody wants to sit there for that. I can guarantee
No,
nobody.
I remember
It's
that was awful.
it's like that little joke where you see the TikTok where it's someone like and in my first attack and in my second attack and in my third attack and in my fifth attack, and then when it gets to the barbarian, it's like I rage.
Yeah.
It's very that, but it's
Yes.
You have to keep it moving, and so
Yes.
keep that in
We're all
mind.
here to have a good time. That is the
Exactly.
bottom
So
line, always and forever.
always the bottom line, and also bottom line next to that is don't cheat. So another of the fun little Dungeons and Drama situations that a lot of people deal with, because this is pretty common, is breakups.
Oh boy.
Boy,
We've had our fair share.
fair share where a character just randomly gets plucked out of reality. It's like, what happened to Steve?
Ooh.
Random fireball.
They
What do you mean
just
random fireball? Just the dragon came and ate him.
just involuntary, just it's random combustion.
Yes.
There we go. They just up in flames. Why? Well, we don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those moments where you have to in game kind of just accept the situation, because unfortunately a lot of breakups end up with I don't want to hang out with them and goodbye. So it obviously affects the game, and you just kind of have to be like, what happened to this character who was about to have a super important plot point? They're no longer relevant. You'll NPC them for a bit, but in the end, it's best for the character to
move on to greener pastures.
Correct. Doesn't have to die. They can retire, leave, whatever. Because these things happen, and outside relationships, not just romantic, are a real part of the dynamic in Dungeons and Dragons. So it's
true,
very important to know how to navigate these things. And we've talked about it so much, but it's always boils down to communication when things like this happen.
Correct.
Because I don't think necessarily people break up, you need to kick a player out. I mean, it obviously depends on the circumstance.
Yeah.
But if it was an amicable breakup where everybody wants to keep playing and it just requires a little bit of cautious navigation for a bit and communication, yeah, we can all be grown-ups. It's okay.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes it is harder.
Sometimes it's harder.
Sometimes it is harder. But like you said, at the bottom line, like the point is to communicate.
Yep.
We all got to communicate. And it's there's going to come a time when things are just not working out. Like we have said in the past, not every table is right for everybody. And even a table that might have been right for you or for other people, as things evolve, as things change, so do the needs of the players. And there is no shame. There is no shame in removing yourself from a situation that is no longer beneficial or adding anything positive to you or to the people around you.
It's completely that.
It's
that. Just keep it in mind. And sometimes the player is going to come and be like, I don't want to play anymore. And it's why you don't eat.
There's
no
a
one
plethora of
owes you a reason. Yeah, no one owes you a reason. Just
but that
create dialogue, create an environment. I think is what I want to say. Is create an environment where people are comfortable talking to you as to why they would want to leave. Because a big part of that does fall on the DM to make sure everybody is having a good time, but I also want to be very clear in the Dungeons and Drama, that isn't the DM's job. It's everyone's
Correct.
job to have a good time.
Correct. That is very, very true. Something that I feel like we or some players might fall into this is interactions are like we were talking about before. The interactions are between me and the DM, me and the DM.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that I've done that. I know that sometimes it's been difficult for me to bring other players into whatever it is that I'm doing.
Into
And
the
as a
scene, yeah.
yes, and as a player, I recognize that I want to be that we're not monoliths, that we're not that this story is not just happening to us. We
Correct.
are all sitting here adding to the plot line, and it is very hard to a DM or to a player who chooses to isolate themselves within the storyline to continue those storylines.
It's I want to add with two things that you said. One thing that you
Mm-hmm.
said, I want to add two things that I think are very
Mm-hmm.
important. One, when you're playing in a group game, and if you have main character syndrome, you really need to evaluate what you're doing. Um, Most of the drama that I've had in role playing circles usually tends to have in things that are easily fixed is when someone is just hogging the table,
Uh-huh.
and that
Yep.
is difficult. It's difficult. Um, the player doesn't realize that they're doing it, and when you bring it up, they might not be receptive to it, but it is something that should not happen. It's a group
Correct.
activity, so bringing
Yep.
people to your scenes is important, because in the end, most people think that the player characters are a group of friends, right?
Correct.
Like, we're not
Yeah.
playing a devious game. We're a group of friends who are adventuring, or they become friends. They don't start off, but they develop their own ties, which brings
There's
me to the second
camaraderie.
thing. Yeah, exactly. Which
Mm-hmm.
brings me to the second thing, which is, if you want to play that character who is all like, I don't know, I don't talk to anyone because I have secrets, and I don't want to get involved in the main story because I don't care about anything. If that is what you want to do,
Oh
I
no.
don't think D&D is a game for you. Your
Because this
character,
also goes back to that cheater guy.
yes, it does. He never wanted to roleplay with anyone. Um, Look, it's the co-host. Um, it's
Oh,
that
poor.
attitude just breaks the group. It breaks it. Like,
Really
it is a group
does.
activity.
It's like,
And
let's
if
all go check out this room. And that one person, I'm gonna go back to town and talk to the innkeeper. It's like,
we are
bro,
here,
bro. Why would you do that?
because my main story is that way, but you're not there yet. You're here. It
It's
it
so annoying. It's so
Yes.
stressful. And sometimes it is merited. Sometimes it is
Yes.
merited, but not on every session.
Sometimes you will have the spotlight in a session or even an
Correct.
arc. If you get to your
Yes.
town where your personal story arc is
Yes.
shining, it's okay to feel that these are sessions about this character. That
Right.
doesn't mean that the other characters can't shine in their own way. Let's say you're playing a warrior, you right now, and you get
Yes.
to your warrior storyline's main point. You still need your rogue allies to open those locks and the
Correct.
chests and whatever, so you can bounce off each other and you can ask your other players for advice and work together. If you just sit
All
there
of
and
that.
sit on your main character syndrome and don't share, you're not, girl, you're not thriving.
No,
You're
no.
flopping.
It's
You're in your
like
flop
go
era.
play some go play some solitaire. Go
Yeah.
go get an RPG on a console. Like go get yourself something where you are the
By
chosen
yourself.
one.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, you're the chosen one. Okay, Buffy. Um, it's very that. And the amount of drama that I've seen being formed in regards to that, and I've seen players both do it and then players trying to put up with it and not start arguments. Like I can see veins on foreheads
Yeah.
get bigger as the person keeps doing it. And I've also had the unfortunate side to see someone who constantly isn't listened to because whatever reason, and they get very frustrated to the point where they say, nobody ever really does what I want to do. I want people to listen. And then people take it like, oh, you're just complaining. But objectively, me as a DM can bring up, no, this person has said 10 times that they want to go west as an example, and nobody ever wants to go west. So it's also about including. It's not just blaming that one player who usually is kind of chaotic. It's also listening to their needs and including them, working together, creating a scene and story together.
It's about us having a good time, all of us together. Stop alienating people. It happens and it sucks, but some of the beauty of this game, some of the best moments, of the juiciest moments in role play are the moments created by those who do not know what the plot line is, what the whole point, and the cops are going at it outside. My house is just sirens galore. If y'all can hear it, I am sorry. It's New York. But anyways, it's like I've had some of the best moments playing with the other players on the table. And those moments bring such beautiful development to the stories, to the individual stories, to the overall arc. Like it can be hard for some people. It can be hard, and I understand why it could be hard, but it's a matter of making an effort, and it becomes less hard.
It's if all the players are making an effort to make sure all the players are having fun, the table itself will be so much better in general.
Correct.
Because one of the big things that I want to say as like a last point in is it's a lot of the people say it's the DM's responsibility, scheduling and this and that. And I think
that is a lot of work.
That is a lot of work. And everybody should take ownership because in the end, we're all playing the game together. The DM is also a player. Yes, his or her role, their role is different. But it doesn't mean that they're not a player.
Correct.
And in the case that even if you're doing with a pro DM, you can't just show up and be like, I don't want to participate, and expect the DM to be like, here's some story. No, it's up to everyone.
Correct.
Everyone. Bring your best game. Your DMs will appreciate it. Your players will appreciate it. And communicate, listen. And if something bothers you, make sure to talk it in a friendly manner. Be it with the player. Don't create a whole scene in front of everybody. Take them aside. Talk to the people. You're playing together for a reason.
Correct.
So yeah, that's some of the drama that we've had in our lives, some experiences. We could probably do
just
this
a few. We could do so many.
We could do like 4 more episodes of this, just talking about the different, because we've had some wild.
There's been some things like there's been some friendships that have vanished over a game, and that is sad. Factual.
Someone stopped talking to me for a week.
But sad.
I remember. It says stop talking to me for a week. We were still in high school because his wife died and I took his sword.
Oh, okay.
It was tragic. Anyway, hi.
Yeah, I killed somebody. I killed somebody's character twice, and I made it a point to it was very obvious that it was because I hated them as a person in real life. And we're once again talking about the cheating guy.
Well, yes.
He really had to leave the table. Anyways.
He did leave the table. Anyways, Cristina, I've sent you an image of a creature that looks big, burly, white fur. It stands on its 2 legs with 2 massive brown claws in front of him. Its fur and bear-like face are roaring, and you can see that from his eyes, coldness, mist kind of like shoots out. They're deep, deep, crystal blue, and you can tell from the distance that those eyes are magical somehow. What am I?
Yeti.
Yes. Good job. Full on guess.
I was absolutely kidding. Like I saw it and I was like, this is a Yeti, this is a Sasquatch.
It is a Yeti.
It is a
It is
Yeti.
a
Yeah.
And fun fact, if you want a stronger Yeti, it's called Abominable Yeti, and it is just a
Oh.
bigger Yeti
Oh.
in size, and it's a lot tougher. Yetis usually roam
No.
mountain ranges, and they'll roar, causing avalanches and other types of destruction around them. They're
It tracks.
brutal no, they're brutal rampagers, so people usually stay clear of them. But if they're ever driven by hunger, they attack settlements in waves, breaking down gates and everything to get food, and they'll eat the people within. These monsters are wild. I think they're so fun. I know exactly where I
It
have.
literally looks like the Yeti at Disney's Animal Kingdom in Orlando, Florida.
But,
like it looks like the Yeti from the Expedition Everest roller coaster. It really does.
well,
I mean, Yeti.
I'm glad that you guessed it off one bat. Like,
I
this was
am
your
so proud of
first.
myself.
As you should be, as you should be. This was a good one. And
It
what I
was.
like about them also, they have a little bit of magical, like they can freeze you from their eyes and stuff.
Oh fuck yeah. Magic Yeti. There we go.
Unlike, the very real Yeti here in the world that stalks people.
Or my Yeti microphone. What'd you say?
What?
On that note.
On that note, guys, thank you very much for checking us out once again. I'm DM Joe. You can find me at Twitter at Joe Harrell. You can also find me at startplaying.games as DM Joe. You can find my Etsy store at Joe Gaming. You can find the Owlbear podcast at Owlbear Pod on Instagram, Owlbear Pod 1 on Twitter,
Owlbear Pod on YouTube.
Owlbear Pod on YouTube.
And you can find me as Crispa Contreras on Instagram and Twitch, and Crispa120 on TikTok and Twitter. We are out of here. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, guys. See you next time.